Hello. In today's tutorial, we will work on patterns. Let me clearly explain something about patterns. Basically, a pattern is a design that is repeated. This design can be of any style. It can be line-based or arc-based. It involves the communication of both. We can use anything in it. So, let's start. I am beginning a new file with a size of 24 by 24 and its thickness will be 0.75. Its datum of 100 is taken from the middle. I will click OK. After clicking OK, we have the size of the shell. Here we will import a pattern file. The pattern file we want to work on. So here we have the pattern file. Enlarge it. I have given it a width according to its size approximately. We have to size it. Other things will be adjusted later. If you look closely, things are repeating in it, like a floral pattern repeating here and above. This is basically a floral pattern being repeated. So what we will do here is first create a floral design and then repeat it in equal parts. One very important thing you should keep in mind. I will zoom in to bring this area closer. From this point to this point, there are two ways. One, we take the dimension, this dimension, and second, we have a measure tool here. I will measure from the center of this floral to the center of this floral. As I click here, a line will be created. Look here, it has given the golden distance, 8.25. And its angle is 0.1 degree because we just needed a distance. We have taken that distance. It has given the distance in XY's x-axis. And this y-axis, meaning at point, I will consider it as 8.25. What will the calculation be? We have an area here that we have designated for the pattern, and we will place a rectangle over it. I will set its axis to 0 at its home position, and I will leave a 1-inch margin on both sides and apply it. Previously we used to do it with an offset, but now since we are moving to a slightly advanced mode, we don't need these small formalities. We will directly input the value and the drawing will start to form. I have set a margin where I have left a 1-inch space on all sides. When I leave a 1-inch space, we will definitely have 22 inches on the inside. When the inch size comes, we need to apply this design on it. So first we need to calculate it. From here, this portion is half an R, and from here to here is 1 R, then 2, and then this is 1/2, meaning we need to divide it into how many parts in total. From here to here, 1, 2, half here, and half there, making 3. If I check it according to their calculation, from here to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts are made. So when we take them in 6 parts like this, it means that we divide the 22 inches we have into 6 parts. Look at this. I divided it into 6 parts and we got a size of 3.66. A little plus or minus doesn't matter much because these designs are made just for appearance. So high accuracy is not required. In mechanical work or any other domain, if I am working, then very high accuracy is required. That's why you might have noticed that often. When I take values, I round them to a figure because it's not a big issue here. You need to maintain accuracy, but high precision is not required. The design we suggested here, I will start making this design from here. I drew a line and took its offset. The calculation we got here was 3.67. Look, I make it 3.66 here, and you can set it by offsetting it. Look at this, then set this line, then set this line, then set this line, then set this line. In this way, the division is done. So basically, which division is this? From here to this, then this, then this, and then this. In this way, we have distributed it evenly. If I group this object here. I select this object and center it. See, this will basically center it on the entire page. Similarly, I did Control C, Control V on this object and rotated it. We have a command here for rotation. While staying on the 0 axis, I will rotate it to 90 degrees. So look, we have created its graph. Why did we create this graph? Although we have this grid available here, you can see it here. We have this grid available, but I created this so that you can get a little idea of these things. Since our size was a bit different, instead of getting into the hassle of grids or discussing those things with you, I tried to bring you an easy three-way method directly. We have the layer command here. I will right-click and move them to a layer. Which layer am I moving them to? I am creating a new layer and writing it here. Grids. New layer. I made it bit and set its color to green and clicked OK. So the graph we have has been converted into a new layer. When we return to the design, we have this design here and how we will complete it. Suppose I create a design on one part here. Now that same design will be applied to this area. One way is to make your work a little easier. And here we created a division. Trace a design on one part, like I draw a line from here to there. And then I did Control C, Control V on the same line. I copied it and rotated it 90 degrees. Our design is complete. We have this. Once its cross is made, the intersection point has appeared here. Now we will create this design. It's very easy to make this design. You take a 3-point arc, start approximately from here and leave it here, making its height equal to this. As soon as you do this much work, close it and mirror it to the bottom side. Grab both objects and join them by pressing J for join, and these two objects are joined. I will array them, go to circular array, change its values. This point appears to us, place it here at the center and distribute it into 4 parts in group form. So the basic design we had is completed. Similarly, in the middle, place a small circle for its filling. What is that circle? I close it here, take a circle, start this circle from this place, give it a value of 5, turn on the Stirling and apply it. So this circle becomes slightly smaller. Click outside and this thing will appear in front of you. We have not completed this design yet. Now look here, some lines have been used, so I will draw these lines here as well. How will they be drawn? In the same way, I need to trim these lines. The lines that are visible here need to be trimmed. But where will I do all this work? I am just moving these 2 objects from here to this place. Look, I dragged it and dropped it here. See, I placed this object here. You have grouped these objects up to this point, closed it, and come to the array here. Array copy is a very important command. Okay? How will we do array copy? I am going to show you here. This is 653, its layout. The size is both in the X direction and the Y direction, and its rows and columns are indicated here. See, the first thing here is that in the pattern we will create the rows. And columns are such that the row is on the left side, the column is on one side, and on the Y side, how many rows will there be? And on one side, how many columns will there be? Here you need to mention that quantity, and you need to provide a gap or an offset here. Let me explain the difference between a gap and an offset. The gap, or empty space that remains between objects, is called a gap. The space from the center of one object to the center of another is what it's called. So in this way you need to set values in both the X and Y directions here. This object that we just looked at here, if I zoom in a bit, when we selected this object, its size came up as 6.5 here. I set its row to 4 columns. And similarly, instead of a gap, I provided offset values. That is, the offset value between one and the other will be 3.66 on the X side and 7.33 on the Y side. But in the negative, because we want to move it to the lower side, we have an option here with column displacement values. So when it creates a column or a row, it will move in the direction I set the value for. As you can see here, I moved it 3.6 to the upside, meaning when this movement occurs and it makes copies, it will slightly move it on the Y side. Here, by zooming out a little, I'll give you an experiment to show you what has happened when this object was copied to its side. It shifted it from here to up here. Instead of this floor coming in front of it, it went up, and the smaller one came in front of it. This is how the displacement occurred. If I set it to 0 here, K, then what will its position be? Let's see. I select the object. Look at this. Now, it has been placed on top of each other here, which is wrong. What we need to do is move it up, because 2 have been placed in the same spot. If I move this to the upside, here, the value we provided was 3.66. I copy it, and this position is achieved. Now what we need to do here is move this object over it, because we need to bring this floor exactly here. So when I grab this floor from this point and fold it with R to bring it to this place, we will make its position proper. Close this. So the entire design is now complete. Here, I want to trim the inner objects that we have selected. I want to trim all the objects from the outside. So here we have a command available, trims. This command is used to trim a large quantity of selected objects. Clear outside boundary, I selected this object, and along with it, I selected this object, and clear it. I've given you a very short demonstration. Please watch it again. When I created so many objects, I grouped this object, and I don't need any outside object. Previously, we used to manually trim each object one by one. So here I will show you how to trim this object. You need to use this command, trim the selected object, last selected object. That means first select the objects you want to trim. After that, the last object you select will become the trimming source. I selected this object with Shift and cleared it. So in this way, see here, if I delete it, then this. So it trimmed all the objects here. So this, we had a floor that we created and we patterned it. Now there are some things inside it. We will work on them. Take command of the line. Zoomed in for this. From its midpoint, I take the line. I leave it at its midpoint. Took the line command again, took it from its midpoint, and brought it to its midpoint. Similarly, we took its midpoint, because there is a difference in the midpoints between them. See this. And in the same way, exactly like this. Here, the thing to notice is to understand. The lines will cross each other, like this. How we have the train command available here. Here, if I trim it, see, follow the design. From here, like this, meaning this line, and this line went together. And from here, this and this line were trimmed. So, we have this line like this, and this line like this. I delete these objects. So this design. Now I have to ray this design. See, group this design. group this object. I set it, and if you copy the text, then this object of ours is also completed. In this way, almost everything within this design is completed. Now one thing remains, which is to apply the class to their lines here. I will remove the graph quantities that we placed underneath it. Here is how to remove this grid graph, or for now I will turn it off. When turned off, we have alternate spaces with a circle on one side and space on the other. We drew a line from this point to that point in between, and similarly from this point to that point. This set of two lines, is now complete. I am grouping it as well, and now watch again as I move it. I am shifting it to a place where it can be moved anywhere. I used the move command to grab this object and placed it here. Make sure to hold the R key. Now I have brought it here, and I have kept the object complete for now. Select this object. Hey, select one. Okay, there's a slight difference. That difference must have appeared in all. You simply have to use the trim command on it. I selected the object. Close it and use the combined trim here to clear it. So you will see that the extra object from the outside has been removed. And here you have it. The excellent objects are complete here, and our pattern work is complete. So today in this lecture, what we discussed was basically arrays. With arrays, we also learned about their displacement and the method to design any pattern. I hope this lecture will be very useful for you. Inshallah, our next lecture. In it, there are some commands here that I will mention. Like here, we have this vector texture command. We will discuss it. We will discuss text. Similarly, here we have some more commands to join. We have commands for fillet, etc. We will discuss creating boundaries with these commands. Subscribe to our channel. Please share it generously on your social media. This is knowledge. It is a trust that you have the right to pass on to others. Like and honor us with good comments.